Believers Talk with Joe and Steve as we get you ready for week 3 of the preseason as the Cincinnati Bengals come into Buffalo to play our Buffalo Bills. So we are going to talk about that in this episode. We're going to get you ready. But before we do that, however, we want to remind you, if you have not already subscribe to this channel. As the season gets closer, it's right around the corner, September 9th, week 1 against Baltimore. Subscribe because we will be here live play-by-play and reaction. We can talk about the game while it's going on, so you don't have to listen to the CBS announcers if you don't like them. We'll give you post-game recaps, pre-game, just like we're doing right here for all the games. And we will also give you any injury news, any highlights, anything that happens throughout the week. We will be here to break that news for you, and we will let you know our opinions on it, and we want to hear your opinions as well. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. We have a lot of outlets for Bills fans, and we want them to use them all, okay? So let's get into this episode a little bit. Let's talk about those Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals are 2-0 this preseason, but again, it's preseason, so record really doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. And we are 1-1. So we go into this game with Josh Allen as our starter. Obviously, that's the big news from this week. Josh Allen was named starter on Monday. I did like the fact that Coach McDermott named him our starter on Monday. As Coach said, it kind of gives us a taste of how he handles that kind of pressure. Not just the game day pressure of being a starter on game day, but how does it feel on Monday and Tuesday when the media is down your throat right after practice, asking you question after question about being named the starter? You know, how does it feel when your buddies and your family and everyone's texting and calling you to congratulate you in starting? And I think this is a good chance, you know. I mean, it's going to be at home, so the home crowd will give Josh Allen some love. And he might not be the only starting quarterback that gets some love in this game, but we'll talk about that in a second. And but it gives him that opportunity with the ones he hasn't had yet this preseason. Being a training camp, Coach McDermott did say that, you know, it's an open QB competition between all 3 quarterbacks. Well, this kind of proves that, in that all 3 quarterbacks get a chance with the ones to see how they do. Now, it's very possible that we will only have 2 quarterbacks for this game. Now, as of Wednesday, A.J. McCarron was practicing a little bit more. Again, his hairline fracture turned out to be not a hairline fracture in his collarbone, so he was throwing the ball on Wednesday, but he was limited in practice. So we'll see what that means come game time, but he might get some action. I expect that he'll be with the 3s, however, if he does get action. I think it will be Josh Allen, Nathan Peterman, and then A.J. McCarron if he does get time. I expect Josh Allen to play all of the first quarter, maybe half of the second quarter, and then that's when that's when Nathan Peterman will come in, unless A.J. McCarron can't play. If A.J. McCarron can't play, then I have Josh Allen in the first half, Nathan Peterman in the second half. So that's kind of what I expect as far as what to see from the quarterbacks. Josh Allen playing the first quarter, maybe an offensive possession or 2 in the second, and then Nathan Peterman, and then if A.J. McCarron can play, he'll play the fourth quarter. I really want to see a quarterback step up and take this job. I think currently Nathan Peterman's a little bit ahead. He's just looked really good this preseason. I think his completion percentage is 85% so far. So, and that's both with the ones in the first week of the season, and then also with the 3s, the second preseason week. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does with the 2s this week. And if Josh Allen does not impress, it'll be interesting to see who gets that starting job. Like I said, I think Nathan Peterman's currently ahead, but I don't think he's ahead by a lot. I think it's a close race still. I know a lot of people want to see Josh Allen start. Again, my heart wants Josh Allen to start, but my head says give him the time he needs to progress. But if he is clearly the best starter out of the 3 of them, then I say go with it. And I don't know that. The coaches know that. So as soon as Coach McDermott makes his decision as who's the starter is going to be, I trust that decision until I see otherwise on the field. Going into the backfield, obviously McCoy is our starter. I expect him to at least play the first quarter in this game. But then it's going to be interesting to me who gets that running back 2 slot. I think during the season, I think it's going to be very much situational. I think Ivory's going to be used on short distances, and Marcus Murphy will be used on, just to mix it up from McCoy whenever he's tired or something like that. But I think a lot of Bills fans believe that Marcus Murphy has earned that number 2 running back spot just because of how he's played in the preseason. So it'll be interesting to see how much they use him compared to Chris Ivory. and I do expect at least them three to make the team. But then you look down at the other running back position. You look at Travaris Cadet and you look at Keith Ford. I think those two guys, we have to watch them as well. I do expect we carry only 3 running backs, but maybe one of those 2 guys can play their way onto the roster. Before preseason started, I thought Travaris Cadet would be a lock to make our roster, but it's not looking that way at all right now. So it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how he does on Sunday to answer that, because there's been a lot of talks this week about him possibly not making the roster. So what does he do to combat that? Does he earn himself a roster spot? Moving on, we have our center position. Obviously, that's between Groy and Bodine. I think whoever starts this game is going to be the starting center come regular season. I personally think Groy has been playing better at center so far, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in that center position to start the 3rd game. I do want to see that center position be locked in, though. It's really tough going into a season when you have your quarterback and center both kind of question marks. I want that center position to be locked in, because I don't think we're going to know much more at quarterback going into the 4th week of the season, maybe even seeing all 3 quarterbacks play come week 4. I don't want to see that, but if that's how coach feels about how close the competition is, maybe he will play all of them for a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Now moving on to the outside of the offense, we have the tight end spot pretty much set there, I think. We have Lee, who's made some noise as far as his productivity this preseason. Maybe a battle between him and Logan Thomas as far as who gets that tight end 3 or tight end 4 spot. And then Kroom has also been showing some promise as well. So maybe a battle towards the back of the depth chart with our tight end. But I think Charles Clay, Nick O'Leary, I think those 2 guys are definitely set for roster spots. And, Dable has worked with Clay before, so I think his position is definitely safe there. Then you go outside of that, of course, you have your wide receivers. I do believe our top 3 wide receivers are set. You got Kelvin Benjamin, Zay Jones, and Corey Coleman. I will be interested to see Zay Jones and Coleman in this game. Coleman getting more reps with the team. Zay Jones still coming back from injury. It'll be interesting to see how well they do in their second stint with the offense. It's good to see them both there. It's good to see Zay Jones healthy. He did have a catch in the last game. I want to see a little bit more productivity from him this game. But after those top 3 wide receivers, it kind of is up in the air as far as who's going to make the roster. I personally think we'll carry over 6 wide receivers, with that 6th wide receiver spot possibly being like a special teams guy and just on the field in like deep situations and Hail Marys and things like that. But we have Rod Streeter, Malachi Dupree, we have Austin Prohl, we have Ray McLeod, we have Todd Gurley, and then we have Robert Foster. Those are 6 guys that I just named. 6 guys and then we have Kanan Clay. So 7 guys fighting for those 3 or 4 spots on the team. Again, Clay was back on special teams last week, but so was Marcus Murphy. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we keep Clay as our 6th to be our special teams guy. But that's still 5 guys battling for 2 spots then. So who do you guys think is going to make it in? I want to know your opinions, your thoughts. I think Jeremy Curley is a savvy veteran, so I can see why he would make the team. Rod Streeter, he was looking really good last year before he got hurt, and then he had that touchdown catch in week 2 of the preseason from Josh Allen. So we could see him making the team. I really like Ray McLeod, young guy, came in, worked hard, played really well week 1. Week 2 he kind of slacked a little bit, but I don't think he was getting as many targets. Robert Foster definitely did not get the targets in week 2. Went 0 for 5, basically 0 for 6. There was a DPI on the one pass, but in the first preseason game, I don't know how many targets he even got in the second preseason game, if any at all. So I do think it's a little up in the air. Austin Prohl, I think, played a lot better in the second game compared to the first game. So I do think that's a little up in the air. Again, I do see why you would want to keep maybe Curley and Streeter. But I do want also to have a rookie or 2 in there as well, get some young guys in there. But with Clay also back there, he's a young guy too, maybe. I don't know. But that's my prediction. Rod Streeter and Jeremy Curley will both make the team. That leaves Ray McLeod, Robert Foster, Austin Prohl all on the outside, and Malachi all on the outside looking in. But I think Ray might get on somewhere if we don't keep him on our team, especially Ray McLeod. I think he's played pretty well. so far this preseason. So that's kind of it for the offensive side of the ball. I do want to see how our offensive line does. So far this preseason, Cincinnati's defensive ends have done a good job of getting to the quarterback. So I think this will be a good test for our young and new offensive line to see how much protection they give Josh Allen, because as we saw last week, AJ McCarron didn't have that much time back there. So I do want to see how they protect Josh Allen. Maybe a little more scheme coming into play here, since it is the Week 3 preseason game, the dress rehearsal. So it'll be interesting to see. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, still no Kyle Williams. Not too much as far as an update. Last time we heard, I believe that was Monday or Tuesday, Coach McDermott says week to week. That's not something you want to hear. Day to day is more what you want to hear. Week to week means it's going to be an extended leave from the field. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Maybe like week 2 or 3 we see him back. But until that time, he definitely will be an emotional leader on these sidelines. But it will be good to see Harrison Phillips come in and take over that role going into his 3rd preseason game and then entering the regular season. I want to see more from Tremaine Edmonds. Everyone's talking about how much of a monster, how much of a beast this guy is. I really haven't seen that so far this preseason. I mean, his size is undoubtedly, undoubtable. Like, his size is his size. You can't deny that. But we see a lot of rookie mistakes from him, going with his first reads, which aren't always there, missing some key assignments, things of that nature. So I want to see how he progresses, how he improves going into week 3. I don't expect him to know it all coming in to the game. So I do want to see, as he gets more reps, I think he'll get better and better, and I want to see that improvement on the field. I want to see Vontae Davis step it up a little bit. And our secondary, basically in general, I feel like has been a little lackluster. Everyone's talking high about our secondary. I think if we want to have a good chance to make the playoffs, our secondary is going to have to do just as good, if not better, than last season as far as getting those turnovers, forcing quarterbacks to hold the ball for a second longer, so our defensive ends and defensive tackles might be able to get in there and get some more sacks. That's definitely something we need more of too, is sacks. I would love to see us get to Andy Dalton. I know at the beginning of the game we will be cheering for Andy Dalton as Bills fans, right? Everyone talks about that the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Ravens last year on 4th and I think it was 4th and 17. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but in a spot that looked nearly impossible, they scored a touchdown, and that Baltimore Ravens losing is what propelled Buffalo into the playoffs. I do like to remind everyone that the Bills still won 9 games last year. Like, Cincinnati didn't help them win 9 games, and Baltimore losing was just a piece of what we needed to happen in Week 17. And that was the last piece to fall. I think that game lasted maybe an hour later than any of the other ones, which was kind of crazy. But it was the last piece to fall. And it was more dramatic that way for us as Bills fans, but we still did win 9 games. Other things did happen that helped us get into that spot. I know we're gonna cheer for Andy Dalton. I know we gave to his charity as Bills Mafia only can do. Bills Mafia was so appreciative of making the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. I think they quadrupled, if not more, their average monthly intake for the Andy Dalton Foundation. So that's cool. I always like hearing stuff like that, because it's cool to see them talk up Bills Mafia. You see a lot of the news when, they talk about us throwing people through tables or jumping through tables and some of the things that Bills fans do. It's good to see them realize that, Bills Mafia, we're a passionate crowd, but we love our team, we love our city, and we're loyal. And that's something that no one can take away from us, no matter what happens. We'll be loyal. So, as far as defense, otherwise, I do want to see the line get to Andy Dalton a little bit more. I do want to see more from Vontae Davis especially, but a little bit more from our corners and safeties altogether, and more from Tremaine Edmonds. So that pretty much leaves Milano as the only guy I didn't mention starters, who I want to see more of. The defensive ends, you still have to watch. I think there's still a couple of battles going on the line there that you'll have to watch out for. And it's going to be interesting to see how Raphael Bush does. Some of our secondary guys need to do a lot better. Not necessarily our first stringers, but definitely our second stringers just need to do better. I think of Lafayette Pitts, who I don't think will make the team even, but they definitely need to step up. But we'll see. Levi Wallace is another one, needs to step up. But this is their chance. Again, this is week 3 of the preseason. This is the dress rehearsal as the Cincinnati Bengals come into Buffalo to play our Buffalo Bills. If you are not able to watch the game, or if you want to hang out with us on Sunday, just know we will be here live this Sunday as the Cincinnati Bengals take on our Buffalo Bills for live commentary, play-by-play. We'll talk back and forth. Last game, we had a great time doing that, and I hope to continue that, not just this week, but going into the regular season as well. Regular season is just around the corner. September 9th is week 1, okay? September 9th at Baltimore. We will be here as well. But if you have not already subscribed to Believers Talk, as the season gets closer and closer and as we get excited, just know we will have you covered right here for all breaking news, whether it be regular season, preseason, going into the postseason. We'll have as many games live that we can, so make sure you turn on your notification bell because that will help when we do go live. And we will give pre and post game for all the games as we get into the 2018 NFL season. I'm excited if you can't tell. This is why I started this channel, for the excitement of the regular season. I'm very excited for that to get started. So subscribe to this channel. We'll have a great time this season. Turn on the notification, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. I look forward to hearing from you. But that's it for this episode as we get ready to host the Cincinnati Bengals. So till next time, go Bills.